I think we're live. It's hard to tell nowadays. All the cyber stuff. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. RVA Sec 2022. My next guest, what's your name, sir?
Eddie McAndrew.
And you're the COO and the CIO of?
AIS Network.
And AIS
Network.
.net.
Yeah, AIS.net is our website, yes.
Now, what do you guys do?
We provide hosting and enterprise architectural services, the full life cycle of cybersecurity services from governance to project work, which would include things like penetration testing, vulnerability scanning, developing a security program, and then operational. You know, the cyclical activities that comprise maintaining a strong security posture for internally and for our clients.
Now, would you be considered security as a service? Like I can hire you to kind of replace the staff I don't have?
Yes, we would do, managed services within the security realm, and in many instances, one of the things that we provide along those lines is a fractional CIO, CISO.
Yeah.
So, if you're a company that has a need for a cyber security, information security officer, we can provide that on a fractional basis, which, is not going to be as expensive as hiring an FTE in that role.
Right.
And, we're going to be able to provide somebody really at a high level of capability.
And at that level, that's about the strategy. It's
right.
Right? I mean, you got the guy to push the button down below, but if you don't have the strategy, the tactics aren't going to work.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I would say is yes. It's think strategic, drive strategic, act tactical. I mean, one of the things about a CISO is they really need to be able to not only look current, look future, look internal, look external, but they got to direct the staff, or in a small business, maybe actually be the one with the hands on the keyboard. I mean, that's a very comprehensive role, and a lot of people think it's one of the most difficult roles in an organization.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about governance. So I'm a retired policeman. I love rules, right? It's just the way I'm wired. Governance means two things. Governance means things you have to do, but I always tell people, you know what? Another part of governance is things you should do. So if you keep your house clean and you comply with regulatory things you got to do, you're in a better position. I think a lot of people say, oh, what's a checklist? The government says I have to do A, B, C, I'm done. Well, what about this internal thing over here you're not taking care of, right? How do you guys view governance?
So governance within the security realm really is the people and the process that enable the technology. Across IT, you think people, process, and technology. So in security governance, you have what would be the security program itself, right? Do you have something that defines the components that comprise your security program? Do you have an identified individual that plays the key role, the CISO, or an individual that might be part-time, identified to drive that security program? And then do you have the documented policies and procedures for things like passwords or access control, in place, and are you able to execute those? So it's really all those elements. And in terms of the execution, do you check up? Do you have a periodic review? Recently in Virginia, the State Corporation Commission, the SEC, released regulations that require insurance companies to adhere to sound cybersecurity practices. And part of that is a security program with policies and procedures, incident response program, breach notification requirements.
That's similar to Homeland Security things for physical security. They require certain port policies and plans and things. Are you finding when you come to a potential client that sometimes they don't have any of those things you just mentioned? In this day and age, is that still the case?
Well, it's funny because one of the things that people least like to focus on, and in particular you might say cybersecurity professionals, is documentation.
Paperwork,
policies and procedures. It's like, well, of course we have a security program. Well, let me see it. We're going to, and they got their full-time job.
Right.
So pulling somebody in that can really align your program with NIST 853 or the ISO 9000, you're really going to, the 27000 series, you're really going to do yourself a favor because, it'll help you get it done.
Now, you mentioned those as kind of projects, really. What are some other projects you would provide?
So, as I mentioned, vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, and then the associated remediation that would come from that, right? And, like developing the security program. So cybersecurity is one of those things, it's not a one and done thing, right? You put locks on your house.
Right.
But if you don't lock the door when you go out, what's the purpose of the locks? So what we will do is go in, we could do a maturity security assessment. And a lot of times a small organization that hasn't had the opportunity or funding to work on the security program, that's a great place to start. Because what we really do as an organization is we drive the best bang for the buck. We'll go in, assess your organization, and drive down the costs of achieving a sound security posture, as opposed to just applying controls willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You really want to go in with a strategic approach and then act tactically to really develop over time, not just the initial sound security posture, but one that will evolve and work and grow with the organization. And that it's at the right level of risk, right? You look at your risk profile and what are your risks? How significant are they? And that's really going to help you determine, what level of controls, security program that you need in place.
I mean, in the end, it's about sustainability, right? So you can come into a company, put all that stuff in, and if they don't follow up, it's going to sit and collect dust until the next company comes in and fixes it again. That's what I find all the time.
Yeah, and there are two types of companies out there. Those that admit they've been breached and those that don't.
Yeah. Well, I used to, when I ran physical guard companies, OSHA's a big thing in California. You get put out of business with OSHA, right?
Right.
And what you had to do to be compliant was not the most difficult thing, but time consuming. I just hired a company. They came in every month. They gave OSHA training. Once a year, they checked all the... It was a no-brainer. I'm thinking of you that way. It's a no-brainer.
Right, and
I'm going to make sure it's done, and I'm going to sit down with you once in a while and check it and make sure it's done and not worry about it.
Right, and it can be done in a number of different ways. It could be a risk assessment, but it could be vulnerability scannings that are combined with a risk assessment, right? So you're looking at somebody's systems both from a technical perspective, but also from a people perspective. The widest vector of attack is the person sitting in the seat.
Yeah.
So one of the things at Project Work, we could come in and do security awareness training, help you to understand and help your people to understand what they need to do to keep the organization secure.
Now, what makes you guys different? You sound, the best way I would describe it would be turnkey. I got the full package right there. Anything I want, I can pick a menu and pull it down and do it.
Yeah, we can be turnkey, but we also can hit specific things. And one of the things that makes us different really is there's so many organizations out there that do cybersecurity consulting. They'll do risk assessments, they'll do, maturity assessments, but we actually provide those services for a wide range of clients of ours. So we're actually implementing those security controls, those security programs, and seeing the results.
You're doing the analysis and you're doing the work to fix it.
Correct.
Oh, that is different.
And we see the results over time with our clients.
Yeah, excellent. All right, name and website one more time.
Eddie McAndrew, COO, CIO at AIS Network, and our website is AIS.net. Check us out.
Excellent. Local, here.
Yes, we are Richmond-based.
All right, excellent. Good to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Back in here at RVA Sec 2022.
Thanks.
Thanks.